Hi, welcome back to the History of Fleetwood Mac. I'm Anita. Today we're going to continue my little time capsule scrapbook from 1978. This will be part 3 of that. And I think we're moving into 7980 territory now. But like I said, we're going to do the small little bit here, coming up here, but then we've still got all this to go. So we still have quite a ways to go on the scrapbook. I've just been doing it in little increments. And honestly, as you all know, if you're new here or have been here, God bless you if you've been here for a while, putting up with me. I've just been kind of running around and just going like I'm doing right now. This little item, if you hadn't seen in video 1 or 2, is just a really unique piece from a lady that I befriended and whose mother was a really big Fleetwood Mac fan. And I was able to acquire this from her, and it's just something that with every video I do, I'm very excited about it, and I can't believe I have it. When I first received it in the mail, I just got really choked up and you cried a little bit. And it's so neat. And I'm going to use the word neat and cool often. And if you want to do a little fun drinking game, I don't know if any of you imbue, but go ahead and be my. I was like trying to think of other words to come up for neat or something, or just not say that, just like this is the picture instead of having to add neat to everything. So no bets. So without further ado, we're going to get into the first page, which was really a neat thing. Okay. I think you might have seen in the Fleetwood Mac around the 1988 collection in my scrapbooks, around the greatest hits and stuff like that. I was at Walmart or something like that, and they had a divider. Okay. And it mentioned like Daltrey. I can't think of that guy's first name. Not the Who Daltrey, but Daughtry, whatever, the younger kid from American Idol, and another Bob Seger maybe, but then Fleetwood Mac was on it. It's this red piece of plastic that, like I said, it's a divider, and it was mentioning like new releases or something that came out, and I took that thing. I asked, sort of, but I took it because it had Fleetwood Mac on it. And this person, again, the reason I'm so excited about this and stuff like that is I could see stuff that we would do similar. And this person, I guess, must have been friends or had somehow obtained entry or again, knew somebody who worked at this radio station, which was M105 with David Sparrow, I want to say is how you say the name. And there was a sign that was saying, Fleetwood Mac would be up and around on a certain day. And I don't know what it's from. There's nothing on the back of it, but they were able to obtain the sign. And I love it. And it's this little sign right here. But it goes with this picture, which is really a unique photo. I have never seen this before, probably because it's only to that area, the Ohio area, in the local papers. It could have been, there's pictures I've seen that are similar, but not this one. But it's M105's David Sparrow Center when he interviewed Fleetwood Mac last summer. Fleetwood Mac was W105's cover story on March 2nd. So that would be in tune with this little piece of, it's pretty thick cardboard, but like I said, nothing on the back. But it's more like it's definitely more cardstock than than papers or something. It's just so cool. I would have totally taken that. I would have totally been somewhere and been like, hey, can I have that? And I would have put it in the scrapbook. Miss Starlight was really cool. And then this was again, when I talked about originals at the very beginning, there was a photo that was in the scrapbook, and it's something that has, most everybody who's a Fleetwood Mac fan or has any pictures or something like that probably has this one, but I guarantee this was something that came out or around the time. When we get copies, we're getting vintage copies, and we're probably getting, around the 80s or something like that. Some of us are lucky to have stuff straight up from the 70s. And again, I'll repeat that this one is definitely from the 70s. It is definitely a thicker, more, much different. Oh, look, it comes right out here. A kind of a real glossy paper. It has a number at the bottom, which is unusual. It's a little bit a different, that's what I'm looking for, a little on an angle. It's the same exact picture, but it's almost like it's a little bit more full frame. There's nothing on the back of it, but it's this picture right here, but it's super glossy, as you can see. And it just seems like all the pictures I've seen before are closed up like this. That's still from it's zoomed in a little bit more, but then cropped a little bit more, if that makes any sense. I will at some point when I go back and redo things, because I have, after this album, I still have a lot of stuff that goes in the 70s era, and we're going to still be revisiting some of that. And at one point, I'll have to pull this probably and see about this picture versus the one I have. And chances are, I'm sure I'll keep both, but I'd really like to keep this one because, again, I know this is something that somebody had at this time. I mean, even putting things in the order that they did, this was something that was received around, anywhere from 77 to 79, but I think it's around 78. So I think that's really cool. They could have had all the stuff and laid it all out and decided I'm going to do things in order, much like I did, but I don't think so. I think this is something they acquired and they're like, oh, cool, we're going to put this in the spot that, from the time I got it. Makes me happy, right? Both of these look like they're possibly out of Rolling Stone magazine, which is really weird. It's small little write-ups, one on Mick Fleetwood and one on Lindsey Buckingham. I don't recognize them from that magazine. It's actually more about their instruments. So, for example, Mick Fleetwood, this little picture here. This one is the one of Mick here. And then there's that picture of Lindsey, and then this little piece on Lindsey here. And on Mick, it says that obviously left Mick Fleetwood a lanky 6'6". Physically, I'm real big, so I had Ludwig make a custom kit in a larger than average size. Not only does it give more punch and projection on stage, but it's more comfortable for me. Fleetwood's custom wood set consists of 28-inch bass drum with a pearl pedal, a steel snare drum, 3 tom-toms, 5 cymbals, and a hi-hat. I really don't have any particularly wild secrets, he says, but I do pay a lot of attention to cleaning the cymbals before every concert. And I find that changing the skins and heads once every 2 gigs, even if they're not dented, makes a hell of a lot of difference in tone. It's expensive, it's a luxury, but I don't hesitate about it now. Fleetwood has collected some 300 percussion instruments over the last 12 years. Some are just small, one-note, obscure, cranky-looking items, like hollowed-out vegetables. Others are prized possessions, like the 2 African talking drums made for him by a Nigerian in England 11 years ago. He plays one of those in every Fleetwood Mac concert. That was kind of a cool little piece of Mick. Lindsey goes into his guitars, which I probably should read out loud, but there are a lot of words I can see here that I don't probably know how to pronounce, and as scatterbrained as I am, I do not want to go do that right now. It seems real simple, but no. Then this again, random notes maybe. You can just make that out. It's hard to say, but this is a great picture of Stevie, and this was when she was on stage with, I want to say, Hall & Oates. I have some really great photos from this session. I believe it was they that were in concert. I want to say, maybe I could be wrong, and Stevie came out to join them. On the back, we have a photo that I also have, but I'm not sure that I have this exact set, because this looks like, again, the photo from Rolling Stone, and then this little snippet looks like Rolling Stone pot. Well, maybe not. Maybe this article down here does. Just their font and stuff like that. Actually, yeah, this one and this one are from Rolling Stone. This little piece up here, Fleetwood Mac's John McVie took that long trek down the aisle with main squeeze Julie Rubens on April 16th. Guests included John's ex, Christine, Stevie Nicks, Lindsey Buckingham, Bob Welch, Peter Green, Ron Wood, John Mayall, and Bill Graham, and a cast of thousands. Don't you just love simple, dignified affairs? That's cute. So there's that. Again, another nice one out of a magazine. I have this one, but I'm not sure that it's this exact one. I can't tell what this came out of. I would think cream, but oh nope, Rock Stars. I definitely don't have this copy then, but I am sure that I have the same photo. But I don't. This font looks different to me, and I think who cares? Great photo. Love. We talk about this little piece a lot. A lot of my friends and such. And then again, this is really funny. I've had this article for quite some time. This is out of Rolling Stone. This is the Fleetwood Mac concert with Steve Miller Band at JFK Stadium in Philadelphia, July 30th, 1978. What's funny is I've had it like this forever. I didn't realize that there's this whole line across here. So what I had, and I'm 90% sure I didn't cut it up like that, but this was a review on that concert. So I'm really glad to have it in full like that. Plus, it's really cool. I may or may not have known that. Don't quiz me. Don't pop quiz me. But it is nice to see because I have so much from this concert. I'm sure all the the setup and everything would look similar, but I'm confident at the same time. And now putting a date to that is kind of cool. So, and let's see, that it was by John Swenson. And it appears that it seemed to be nope. Nope, they were pretty shitty against Nicks. Let's get to the good part, not the good part, the good bad part at the end. Despite the commercial success, Stevie Nicks has helped bring Fleetwood Mac. The band is better off in concert when she shuts her mouth. I wonder if Joe Swenson's still alive. I feel like writing a letter. Wow. Who in the flaming F would ever say that to somebody now? Who would just be so rude? How about just, I don't like her. I think Fleetwood Mac is better without her, but just say something so shitty like that. Welcome to the 70s, and yeah. Shut her mouth and whirls around the stage. Nick sounded consistently weak vocally and apparently uninterested in the old material. Whole sections of the show, especially one starting with Dreams, were ruined by her lackluster vocals. She had to be saved repeatedly by Christine McVie's backup harmonies, which were embarrassingly more tuneful and responsive to the arrangement than Nick's. Nick sang so poorly, she even threw off her rhythm section, forcing Fleetwood to check and change tempos repeatedly during several tunes. By contrast, when Christine McVie took over lead vocals on Monday Morning and You Make Loving Fun, the band sounded magnificent and everything fell into place. Nick sang like she meant it only on the one new song the group played, Sisters of the Moon, leading one to suspect her poor performance was due more to boredom than ineptness. Despite Nick's, the Mac pulled off a red-hot finale, turning through bright versions of Go Your Own Way and Secondhand News that gave fans what they came for. You got to take the good with the bad, right? The bad with the good. It's not a complete collection if you don't have some shithead just saying rude things. Let's say she's completely buttered that night. Completely crappy. And just be like, she just didn't sound like herself. That was a damn shame. Everybody else sounded pretty good, but yeah, Stevie was just off kilter instead of just, yeah. I apologize. Let's see, I don't know if this is, let's see, July 30th, so these aren't replies, I don't think. These are a lot of letters. I like seeing those too. In Rolling Stone, whenever there be an article or something like that, a lot of letters coming to her coming in to save her or to her rescue. That's very. I watch a guy and he's all about the Met Gala and stuff like that, and he has his opinion. He's very comedic, and I really like him. And he's like, if you have anything, if you don't like anything I say, just remember these people don't know you. And it's true when you're writing. But at the same time, people who come to the defense of a band with a simple statement of saying something like I did, like you could have just said, yeah, blah, and blah, blah. It's just niceties. It's just something nice to do. And coming at them like that. I don't, whenever I speak or do anything that I do on these videos or talk about what I thought was good, bad, or ugly, or it's a shame, blah, 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 had to happen. I'm never there to protect Stevie Nicks. Stevie Nicks is her own person. She's a human, by the way, who, is not under my protection. She's a person. I don't think she's some gossamer, clay feet kind of, person like that. It's just, I admire her clearly, but, I would never, it's hard for me to refrain from being online, especially, these past couple nights with the Met Gala reception of Stevie and all these inane questions about how she sat down in her dress or went pee. If I hear that one more time, and I'm just like, I guess at my age, I'm just, really, because you can't keep that in your inside voice, just ask in there, or just have the common sense to realize if, that big dress that she wore probably detaches, or I don't know. I apologize. See, that's what happens every video. But you read letters like this, and that's what's frustrating about it. It's not just that people are saying stuff that you don't like about somebody that you like, but it's that an artist comes out and gives their all. Everybody has a good and a bad night, and then people have to say really shitty things like that. It really bugs the crap out of me, and that's about anybody. It just happens I'm talking about Stevie Nicks right now, but any of the acts that I like are friends. Somebody leaves a bad review for a friend of mine at his shop. It's like, did that person have an off day? Well, either way, you could have said, you know what I'm saying. Getting off of that, Stevie Nicks' letter, one person wrote in saying, I'm tired of hearing that Fleetwood Mac clicks despite Nicks. To say that Stevie Nicks was bored and uninterested with old material is simply not true. I'm sure you must be aware of the nodes on Nicks' vocal cords, but maybe reviewer John Swenson sat too far back in JFK Stadium to notice Nicks trying to protect her throat by wrapping towels around her neck between numbers. That sounds devoted to me. Yeah, you little shit. All right, am I right? Anybody hear me on this one? It also seems that nope, not clicks with. But there's another article, I guess, was written. I wish there were dates on these ones, but somebody who was with the New Yorker or something like that went against Rolling Stone. Anyway, it's a lot of industry talk, but basically what they're saying is like, stop doing things like that. More articles on the band. This one, promoters debate future of big outdoor shows, and they're talking about Fleetwood Mac being a day on the green, for example, scheduled for the 57,000 seat Oakland Stadium to an indoor concert with fewer acts and an audience of 14,000. Fayline Productions had to cancel a Fleetwood Mac concert because of poor ticket sales. Strange. Jam Productions Eagles Steve Miller drew 46,000 in Chicago's 60,000 seat arena. So just talking about it, and that's still an ongoing quest, isn't it? And honestly, how many outdoor things are there anymore? We still have the shoreline, and out here we have the gorge. There's Red Rocks. I mean, to name a few. But it's kind of not the. It's more about especially the gorge out here and the Red Rocks in Colorado. It seems those really more about the whole atmosphere. Of course, they would like to sell out a venue, but but when all these big, what would they call it in the 70s? I'm trying to think. Corporate rock. All these bands were coming out, stuff like that. They just expected, people to come in droves and droves, and they wanted them to. In one of the first videos, I was talking about, 76,000 people showing up. That's a lot of people to one concert. But they kept building more and more venues for people to, go to shows. Whereas back in the day, and I don't think I'm out of turn saying this, people like Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, and stuff like that would play, like 4 or 5 nights in a venue because they like the small, intimate stuff. They play big places too, don't misconstrue, but I'm saying that's what they are more about. And they wanted to play those venues because those venues meant something. They had great sound, they had great, but in the 60s through the 80s, I'd say people were really pushing for the outdoor venues. Yeah, who cares if the sound is good? We just really want to pack them in. And that's still kind of the thing that's going on today. We had a new park open in Portland it was okay, but it felt like me being in Oakland at the Oakland A's stadium. It was nice and it had a lot of room. The sound was okay, I guess. It was on the waterfront, sort of a part of the water, but just, do we need that? We have the Moda Center, and I'm sure whatever state you live in, I'm sure there's a great outdoor one, leave it be, and I'm sure there's a great indoor one, leave it be, and choose one or the other. But these kind of issues they were having a lot of, it seems to me, in my opinion, in the 70s and 80s, because they just kept building them, and they didn't know which way they wanted to push it. Do we want to fill a smaller indoor stadium that may not get as much ticket sales, but we could add 2 nights? Or do we want to keep building these gargantuan places outside and maybe undersell them? So just kind of one of those things. Again, this was another one about attendance off, and they specifically bring up though small acts have been hit the hardest. The impacts also have been felt by major artists such as the Eagles and Fleetwood Mac. The Eagles, for example, reportedly had trouble selling out some shows on their fall tour. Those spokesmen for the group maintained that the only unsold tickets were for seats with an obstructed view of the stage, and at press time, tickets were still available for Fleetwood Mac's show in New York. Pretty sure that did sell out, though, later. Madison Square Garden. Maybe I'm wrong. This doesn't have anything much. It has this cool little picture here. I'm not sure which magazine that came out, but I've seen quite a few of those, but that's just a nice clear one. But the cool thing, the neat thing on this page, right, is a vintage probably a gumball machine or somewhere sticker. I know. So dumb. Never seen one. Absolutely love it. It's so cool. It's so 70s, 80s. I love it. Absolutely love it. And I don't know, I'm shocked that this person only had one in here because I would have tried to find where you got them and gotten about 30 of them. That's me. On the back of this is yet another one of those Polaroids that I'm pretty sure is off the poster, but looks pretty cool, huh? So this is technically a vintage Polaroid. It's a copy of a poster. But technically, I could say it's another vintage Polaroid. Lindsay accompanied Stevie Nicks, Mick Fleetwood, and John McVie to Muddy Waters gig in Washington, and Fleetwood drummed exuberantly with Waters Band for an hour after Muddy left the stage. Most of the band was present at a party full of politicians and record execs in DC's Georgetown district when an anonymous prankster smooshed a chocolate mousse into the face of presidential aide Hamilton Jordan. There are a lot of sickies and nuts who do things like that. Yeah, for sure. Well, this is good. Lindsey Buckingham, who went into a bit of a sulk after he became ill during Fleetwood Mac's late summer tour, he reportedly felt that Mick Fleetwood was pushing the band too hard. Oh, really? Is back in top form and working with the group to complete the 22-song double album they plan to release early next summer. Lindsey hosted a Halloween party in the Hollywood home to seal the reconciliation. He dressed as a priest, while Mick came dressed as Count Dracula. Stevie Nicks is a witch in white fang and wig. John McVie is a Nazi. And Christine McVie is Aunt Jemima. Yeah. One of the more sour notes. And, I'm not condoning it. Do not come for me. But, 1970, oh, that's funny as shit. Yeah. Talk about a band who would have been canceled immediately if that had happened today or in the 90s even. Bad. We have pictures of that, but we don't like to show them. They're in Mick Fleetwood's book. It is cool because it's a Halloween party and stuff like that, but we don't talk about that too often. This was a article that is one of actually the oldest ones that I've ever had early in my collecting, and this was Nix's Coat Gets Nixed. I do believe that she found it. Actually, this one was facing the upcoming summer Fleetwood Mac tour without the jacket, Stevie says, is irreplaceable and means a whole lot more to me than to whomever took it. I highly doubt that, because I would have been like, I want to keep it, but I never would have stolen it from her to begin with. Any information would be appreciated, and there's a phone number. Now, I do believe that she found this, but funny enough, if I'm right, I've never seen it again, and if I'm wrong, it's never surfaced, which you would definitely think it would surface. Although some dipshit could have died, and their kids thought, oh, let's put this to Goodwill or something. You never know. Rock Radio Awards. Fleetwood Mac's Rumors beat out 3 Beatles records as the all-time favorite album, and Jackson Browne took 3 of the 8 awards in the second annual Rock Radio Awards. Rumors outscored 4 other nominees in the favorite album category: the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, Abbey Road and the White Album, and Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. Damn. Fleetwood Mac also won the award for favorite group of 1978. And that was it. And then LP bestsellers. This is an article. This is a little clipping I have as well. This one was with Ben Orr of the Cars and Mick Fleetwood this is out of Cream magazine because they're making some stupid joke that I don't get now. Probably was to be gotten in the day. Fleetwood Mac headed from Moscow. Now that I don't have. That's from Rolling Stone magazine. And the Russian visit was the idea of Fleetwood Mac legal advisor Michael Shapiro. Shapiro first presented it to Mick Fleetwood and John McVie last June. They gave me their blessings to check out all the possibilities, said Shapiro, and I found the Russian embassy in Washington and the U.S. State Department both very receptive. Did I know they went to Russia? Shapiro traveled to Moscow early this year to meet again with Ustin, who was Alexei Ustin, deputy of the Soviet Concert Organization, and he had to be shown a videotape of Fleetwood Mac to show them, they weren't Satanists or something, probably. And they returned, formally of the State Department, they returned with an official document confirming the concerts for July 8th, 9th, and 10th at the acoustically elegant 3,000-seat Rosia Concert Hall. Yeah, I don't remember this at all. So I wonder if it happened. Probably if I looked in the live album, it shows all the all the places they went. It would probably show that. It's like they had like Budapest or something like that, or maybe I'm just thinking of Cheap Trick, Budapest or something. I don't know. And when I think of Russia, I think of like is it the Beatles or just Paul McCartney back to the USSR or something like that. So more little snippets. I think we're almost done here because here I am again ranting. This was a picture of Peter Green marrying Jane Samuel at Mick Fleetwood's house in Bel Air, and has announced plans to record his first album, a solo since he left the Mac 8 years ago to become a religious nomad. Guests at Green's wedding included Christine McVie, Mick Fleetwood, and his wife Jenny, matron of honor, John Mayall's bassist Steve Thompson, best man, Mac alumnus Bob Welch, and former Animals guitarist John Wider. When the couple left the house to catch a plane to London for their honeymoon, they discovered that Christine and Jenny had written "Just Married" in bacon and onion dip on the back of Jane's VW bus. Christine McVie has bought an English-style estate in Beverly Hills, complete with maids' quarters, pool, and rose garden. Her romance with Fleetwood Mac's lighting director, Curry Grant, is still going strong. Another little picture of Stevie with Kenny Loggins. Some readers' poll, and these were just like a lot of calendar shots out of magazines. This was more, like prime movers national, like who's doing well, like Bill Conte, Stevie Wonder, and Fleetwood Mac with Dreams, so it was singles. Prime movers national, here we had Fleetwood Mac with Don't Stop, number 2, between Rita Coolidge and Heart. Fleetwood Mac with Don't Stop between the Floaters and Crosby, Stills, and Nash. This, I have no idea what it came out of, but it says Bob Welch is due to release his new disc with a little help from friends Christine McVie and Stevie Nicks from Fleetwood Mac. This lighter, which is funny because I have one of those. I think I've shown another video, so that must have been an ad for that. And then this little piece here, Rumors, Fleetwood Mac, Warner Brothers, 1975. In a rejuvenated incarnation, the veteran band became masters of middle-of-the-road pop, but with substantial style. And then the last page I think I'm going to bore you with, tell you about, is yet another Polaroid. I just love that. I think it's so cute. Big Mac with all the trimmings. The soundtrack of a disco movie had accomplished what Linda Ronstadt, Rod Stewart, Kiss, Sean Cassidy, and dozens of others could not. It has replaced Fleetwood Mac's Rumors on the number 1 album in the country. Rumors has occupied the top spot for 33 weeks. So I'm going to say it was Staying Alive. Which, if I'm not mistaken, people always say that like Michael Jackson and all these other people had outdone Rumors. But I want to say that Staying Alive was the best like movie soundtrack album. Fleetwood Mac was like a best group album, and Michael Jackson was the best solo artist album. So I think they still have some pull in those areas. This was a funny little thing here. This was with Lewis surrounded by rock stars Brian Ferry, Dave Mason, Ron Wood, and Mick Fleetwood. Bragg's Jerry Lee, these people would run in here and kiss my feet. He was always such a calm and simple man. Nobody. So that is that little set here. And then we're going to end with yet a duplicate. This is one in my collection as well, but a very sweet picture of Stevie. Don't ask me what she's attending. I might remember it some other time, probably 5 minutes after I'm done with the video. And we'll be back next time with plenty more. We still got plenty more coming in this. Got it all set up here for a while. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a great night. We'll see you next time. Bye.